How you guys doing again? This is Stan Banks from T-Shirt Side Hustle, bringing you another episode of Hustle Talks. Today I'm here with my man Erastus from Garment Creations. He was a former subscriber, now a fellow YouTuber. So I'm just gonna ask you a few questions so we can try to enlighten the people on the journey of trying to be a t-shirt shop owners. So how did you get started with t-shirts?
I mean, first of all though, I want to say a big thanks to Stan Banks for coming out. Before we get into the question, coming out and checking out your bull. So when I got into t-shirts first, I had no idea about t-shirts. I mean, I was in the wedding and my buddy it's my best friend's wedding, and his bridal party, I know there was a thing, people bridal party need t-shirts and all that, and I knew he was gonna get some shirts. So I came up with the idea like, yo, let me do them shirts. I don't even know where it came from that I even said that. Had no idea about the t-shirt game, nothing. He's like, what are you talking about? When you become a t-shirt guy? I was like, yo, let me do them shirts. He said, all right, I'll give you a shot. It was 12 shirts. I took the order, got on YouTube. How to make t-shirts. Started searching. I came up across a few videos. I watched some of Stan's video. I watched a whole bunch of videos. I had no equipment. All this stuff back here, none of it was here. So when I took the order, I went out and I ordered some transfers because in the process of my videos, I came across Transfer Express. So I went ahead and ordered some. I did the design, threw it on there, which is groom's girl, whatever the heck, whatever all the words are. I put it on Transfer Express. I got the transfers. Now I got these transfers thinking I could use an iron. But after I did the first one, I was like, dang, it's not gonna hold with the iron. Right then and there, like the next day was a Sunday, I go to church and my cousin came in front of the church, said, yeah, I'm doing t-shirts and I got all these equipments. I'm like, oh, snap. So I went over to his house. I'm like, yo, I need to use your equipment. What kind of equipment you got? He had a heat press, the same type heat press I got back there. And we printed them shirts out of his house. His apartment was hot as hell in there because he had he had everything in his room. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. So we did the order. I deliver on the order. My man was like, wow, you really came up. You came through with this, John. Like, yeah, I came through. Didn't even know nothing about it.
None of those issues.
None of those issues that I even managed to even get his order. So that's how that happened, man. And from there on, it was a go.
So I think like for Hustle Talk, I think your story kind of like is the way a lot of people start. A true hustler is gonna make the sale and then figure out how to get it done. And that's like one of the things I preach. Even if you don't really know what you're doing, you guys have me, you got him on his YouTube channel just to ask questions to get the answers to. YouTube, you can literally find anything on YouTube. So you haven't really been doing t-shirts that much long. That long.
I've only been doing t-shirts about 3 years now.
All right, so my man's been doing shirts for 3 years. When you started, about how much did it cost you to get started? Once you took that order and you just had to buy the transfers, but how much did you spend on your initial equipment?
$250, $280. All I did was buy the press because I realized that since there's a company that's going to be doing these transfers for me, I just need the equipment to press this thing down. First thing I bought was the heat press, and this is the heat press back there, and that's all I did. It was like $250, $280, nothing more than $300.
Right. So when you get a heat press, that's like the central piece to this business. It doesn't matter, like you can't walk into a shop that makes t-shirts and not find a heat press. I don't care, from the biggest screen printing shops with automatic machines, they got some form of heat press in there. So a heat press investment is not something that'll actually go bad or anything like that. And then you decide to get a cutter. What cutter did you get?
Yeah, I started off, I was doing research about cutters and I came across the Cameo, all the little tabletop things. But I went big. I went ahead and bought the US cutter, the MH721 series, because I was like, wow, if t-shirt people are doing more than t-shirts, there are t-shirts people that's doing signs, they're doing banners, I want to jump right into that to know that I'm ready to do anything like that whenever a customer comes through. So I went ahead and grabbed a big cutter.
Now I know we talk about this, but how often do you do jobs that are bigger than a t-shirt? Like how often are you doing different size signs and stuff?
Not that often. They come here and there. There's like a banner or something where I have to cut the vinyl to do the banner. But as far as a sign, I've only done one sign job in the last 3 years. I mean,
all right. So you were in a short amount of time, or in a rather short amount of time, you went from pressing shirts out of your house to now you got a nice size store here, and we'll make sure that we give you guys a nice little rundown of the store of what's going on in here. But like, you know, what was that process of like from going from pressing shirts in your house? And I know you have another job, so it's truly a t-shirt side hustle.
Yeah.
All right, so now you have another job. Now you went into the building. When did you know it was like time to get out of the house and, you know what I mean, just look for a location and actually eventually get into a shop?
Yeah, so that process was definitely, it was a marathon. It was slow. It was a slow process. I went from literally printing in the closet. Me and my wife fought over this closet space. She swore it was gonna be her shoe store when we first got in the apartment. I could sit in the closet and barely scratch. But I had everything in there, talking about hot. I had that heat press in there, everything was in there. Then eventually I grew out of that closet. Orders started coming in. I mean, word of mouth. I was like, oh snap, now I'm in the living room. Now she didn't have a dining room, I'm in the dining room. I grew out of the house, man, and then at one point, we moved out of our house and we were stopping with my cousin. I was like, dude, I know you're gonna help my family out, we're gonna live with you for a little bit, but I need somewhere to run my t-shirt business, you know what I mean? He said, all right, man, the basement's downstairs, you can do it. I was working out the basement. There was some videos, I was working out the basement, man. That was in my cousin's crib. All right, so then, eventually we moved back out of his crib and we got back into another place. I worked there for a little bit as well. In the dining room, my wife haven't had a dining room or a living room in about 3 years because the business was growing. We had boxes everywhere.
Yep.
But, so 2019 hits and I told myself this year, I'm gonna grow out of this house and get to the next level, all right? It's not something, I could have done that forever from the beginning, but I don't think I was gonna make it, all right? It was steps. You had to be ready. I had to be ready to really jump out there and take up this investment. Like you said, I worked a full-time job. Like, I get off of work at 5 o'clock, get home at 6. Like, so I wasn't ready for it. So initially, the reason why I was able to jump out of the house, because this year, I told myself, hey, by the end of 2019, I'm gonna be working for myself. And to be able to work for myself, I had to get out the house. All right, I had to get out the house eventually, so I started searching around for a place. And when I found the place, I was still a little scared. I'm like, damn, is it time yet?
Right.
But I jumped out there. I mean, I jumped out there in time and got the place, and we're here.
Give me 2 things that you would tell somebody who hasn't had, they just say, hey, today I want to learn to make t-shirts and I want to start a t-shirt business. And, you know, what are 2 pieces of advice you would give them just starting out of the house or, you know, getting ready to starting to do that research? What advice would you give people?
Don't spend too much time on the research. Just get started.
We can't emphasize that enough.
I mean, don't spend too much time on, oh, I need a logo. Oh, let me go register my business. Oh, it's not a business yet. I mean, so I would tell people, yes, spend the time, the time you put into research, turn that time into learning.
Yeah.
All right? Learn. And then jump out there and just do it.
Yeah.
All right? So then the second point here is find what you're good at, a specific market, like a niche. All right? So yes, we're custom, we do all things custom, but within that custom, what is it that you're good at? Are you going to be a screen printer? Are you going to be a vinyl decorator? As for me, I was like, man, I don't want to focus on screen printing because there's companies that could probably do the screens for me and send it to me. But I'm going to focus on vinyl.
All right.
All right? So I found the thing that I wanted to focus on to be the decorative master of.
Yep.
All right? And that's what I did. So I went in and just dug into vinyl. And we went on with it.
I can't stress those 2 points enough because it's like, you know, I tell people all the time, like, stop reading reviews. Like, you gotta read reviews on equipment and stuff like that. But for every good review, there's 25 negative reviews. You know what I mean? You just try, and you never know what like those people might have out. You know what I'm saying, for a company, let alone or something like that. So I started to review more machines and stuff like that, and just give honest feedback on some machines to give people like a more of a comfort, know what you're getting into. And then the second thing, like you said, man, is really just all about just getting started and going at it full throttle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think I'm going to wrap it up with 2 more questions. So now that, you know, we talked to the people starting out of their house, now what's the piece of advice for the people who are already printing out of their house and they're like, oh, should I find a location or should I look for a location? Can I afford it? Like, what one thing would you tell that person? Like, how can someone else know if it's time to get out of the house?
You'll know when it's time because you see the value, the business is growing, okay? The business is growing inside of your house. You're spending a lot of time. You have no extra time. There is no time to be on the couch doing anything else because you're all business, all right? So at this point now, you're all business, you're in full time. You need to start jumping out there and just know. Eventually, before you started in the house, you didn't know you was gonna be this far.
Yep.
So now, instead of us facing fear or being scared to do this and do that, just jump out there and do it. If that is the next step, I can't give you the exact time of when, but if you feel like the next step for me to move into something big is to get out the house, that's what you gotta do.
I agree, because somebody told me a quote that I'd never forget, and it was like, if you never leave to go to work, you never get off. Right. So if you're working out of your house and you working nonstop, you wake up, you on the computer, you might leave the house and go do some work or work your other job, but whenever you come home, all you're thinking is about, oh, I need to do this, or I need to go over here and do this, I need to do this, or something like that. You definitely never get off, like, you know what I mean? And sometimes, I know a lot of people have questions about work-life balance, you know, involving the kids. One of the things I like to do is make it a family business. I know your kids, and you guys seen them running, come through the video a little bit, but you know, you really have to find that work-life balance and everything like that. So I think that's some great advice. All right, you talked about like finding your area expertise or your niche per se. Me personally, I don't consider like, I feel like print methods aren't niches, right? So I feel like if you want to master, you should definitely pick something to master. So you find your market or the methods you're gonna pick. So you pick vinyl, like you said, you mastered it. So you know, I believe in niches bring riches, and you have a niche clothing line that you were working with. Like, how was that process from pairing it with doing garments, custom garments, and then you had your Tourneville brand that you were working on, and how was that process?
So the Tourneville brand started after the decorative garment part of it. So I realized, like, dang, I mean, I can print garments. Why don't I start a brand? Right. So that process there was just like the next step it was easy because I was already hands-on with this. But the reason, so right now the brand has slowed down a little bit because I needed to focus more on what was bringing me money, what the income was coming in on. It's not like the brand died, but no, the brand was not making me money as much as custom stuff was. So the transition to move into just custom stuff instead of my brand was easy because there was no money in the brand at that time. My brand was very niche, like you said. It was a Christian brand, and there's a lot of other Christian brands out there. But it was kind of hard to balance, to run a brand and do both because people are gonna come into your custom establishment and say, hey, can you do that? Can you print that for me? Right. They'll take, instead of your brand stuff, they want to customize your brand. And I was like, I'm gonna have to separate that.
That was one of the things I talked to a few people about. Is like when you do customs, you really truly have to separate the two. Because especially trying to do a premium brand, it'll devalue your brand. Now, what was your design expertise? I know I said 2 more questions, but you know, as we talk, it's coming up more. But what was your design? A lot of people say, I can't design, can I make t-shirts? I can't do this, can I do, like, what was your expertise when you got into it?
When I got into it, nothing, man. Like I said, I said yes to a thing and not knowing what to do. And I learned it. All right, somebody once told me, just say yes, just lie and learn it. All right, so I said yes. Yes, I could do a logo. Yes, I can create you this, that, and the third, and then I learned it. All right, so everything as far as Illustrator, Photoshop, the vector programs for the vinyl cutter I didn't know them from the beginning. I mean, so within this last couple years, me being in the closet, in the basement, I learned it. Put in the time and learned it.
Let me try and think if there's any more insight. So, you got a YouTube channel, Garment Creations, that's correct, right?
Yes.
All right, so tell us what we have to look forward to coming from your YouTube channel.
The channel is all geared towards people that are heat printers, that are they're not from home and they want to get into the next step. So we bring you videos, collaborations with other t-shirt companies, other t-shirt YouTubers like Stan Banks himself, and we do videos to just educate people. All right, so anybody that come across my channel, they'll probably leave with the knowledge of being able to either print a shirt or know of a company that can help them to get whatever materials they need.
Alright guys, so this has been the second version, or second edition rather, of Hustle Talk, man. If you guys have some questions, go ahead and put them in the comments below. I'll make sure that he gets in there. If I'm not there I answer all comments, but I'll make sure he peeks at the video and comes and responds to you guys. Make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe to his channel. It's just about that time for him to grow. We're trying to get my man monetized. We gotta get him up to 1,000 subscribers with your help. I think I watch his videos. His channel is very, very useful. He done even you got a collaboration with FM Expressions. I ain't even get that collaboration yet, but you know what I mean? So check out his channel, check out his YouTube. Make sure you hit him up on Instagram, Garment Creations. And this has been your boy Stan Banks here with my man Erastus from Garment Creations. Peace.